Hello everyone. This is the second part of structure of heart. So this is a summary of what happens in our heart. So let's quickly go through that. Superior and inferior vena cava brings deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. It crosses the tricuspid valve to reach the right ventricle. Now with the help of pulmonary artery, which valve is present there? Pulmonary valve. It reaches to the, where it goes? It reaches to the lungs. From the lungs, left atrium it reaches through which blood vessel? It reaches to the left atrium via pulmonary vein. Now from the left atrium it reaches to the left ventricle by crossing bicuspid valve, and from there it through the aorta reaches to the rest part of the body. Just a summary or just a quick review of what we have studied in the last lesson. Now just see the factors related to whatever we have studied. Muscular organ which is located near the chest, slightly towards the left in the thoracic region, below the neck. Below the head there is neck. Below the neck what region comes? We call it as thorax. That region is thoracic region. Now heart is a main pumping organ of the body. It has 4 chambers which are there, 2 atria right and left and 2 ventricles right and left. These chambers prevent the oxygen rich blood from mixing with the blood containing carbon dioxide. That means it prevents mixing of pure and impure blood. The right half of the heart receives a deoxygenated blood, whereas the left half receives the oxygenated blood. These all factors we have already discussed. Between right atria and right ventricle there is tricuspid valve, and between left atria and left ventricle there is mitral valve. What is the function? To prevent backward flow of the blood. The carbon dioxide rich blood has to reach the lungs for the carbon dioxide to be removed through the pulmonary artery. So the blood which is impure will go to lungs from the heart via pulmonary artery. Why? For the purification. Pulmonary vein carry oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart after purification. This we know, right? This oxygen rich blood is then pumped to the rest of the body via largest blood vessel in our body called aorta. Now, humans show double circulation. What is double circulation? Blood goes through the heart twice and complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Suppose if this is our heart, so suppose blood A. Just I am giving the name for the blood A. This blood A comes to this chamber first time. It goes here. Later where it goes? It goes to lungs. Now the same blood A after purification is coming to the heart. So this blood A, how many times it has come? Twice in the heart. One in the form of deoxygenated, one is in the form of oxygenated. So the same blood which reaches or passes through the heart twice. That's why we call it as double circulation. Arteries carry blood from the heart to different parts of the body, whereas veins deliver the blood back to the heart. Suppose you have studied this vena cavas, right? Superior and inferior vena cavas. These are actually a kind of vein only. Arteries are connected to the veins by thin capillaries, wherein materials are exchanged between the blood and the cell. We know about capillaries also. In the human body, blood circulates to the heart twice. We know that. Once it goes through the heart during pulmonary circulation and second time during the systemic circulation. So new terms are coming. One is pulmonary circulation, another one is systemic circulation. Pulmonary, as we have already discussed, it is the circulation which is related to the lungs. What about systemic circulation? Is a circulation which is related to and from the body part. If this is the heart, blood has to go to lungs and the blood after purification has to come back from the lungs. This much is the pulmonary circulation. So what will be about systemic circulation? From the heart, the pure blood goes to body. After utilization, its impure form with the help of vena cavas come back to the heart. So it is related to the body system, right? This is what we call systemic circulation. Now if you look at this diagram, this will be easy. Imagine that this is the body and this is our lungs. So we know that from, see, whatever you have studied the terms, not studied, you can remove it. Other things you can just focus. This is going to be the right atrium, right ventricle. Left atrium, left ventricle. From the right atrium, what happens? The impure blood comes to right ventricle. From the right ventricle, it goes to the lungs through pulmonary artery. From there, this blue indicate impurity, red indicates purity. Now from the lungs, via pulmonary vein, the blood comes back to the which chamber? This is actually the left atrium. From the left atrium, it goes to left ventricle. From the left ventricle via aorta, it goes to various part of the body, such as if you are taking this as a cell, oxygen is given to the cell. From the cell, carbon dioxide is taken. Now vena cavas are going to carry this back to the atrium. So the circulation related to body is termed as systemic circulation, and the one with the lungs we termed as which one? Pulmonary circulation. For you to understand in a quick way, we'll see this one. Now, okay, just we'll start from here. This is the right auricle. From the right auricle, where the blood goes? The blood goes to right ventricle. From the right ventricle, who takes it? We know that pulmonary artery carry this blood to the lungs. Where it comes? It comes to lungs. From the lungs, who takes it? Pulmonary vein. Now it is purified blood. Where it comes? It comes to left auricle. From the left auricle, where it goes? It goes to left ventricle. From the left ventricle, who brings it? Aorta. Aorta brings to various body parts. Now from the body parts, who brings to right atrium? Who's that? Actually the vena cavas. Which are the vena cavas? Superior and inferior vena cavas. Now, this entire event, if you divide it this way, the thing which is related to body, we call it as systemic circulation. And the one which is related to our lungs will be pulmonary circulation. So let's define it. So pulmonary circulation includes the passage of blood. So which are the valve will be here? Which will be the valve? That you should remember, right? Now, the circulation which involves the traveling or movement of blood from right ventricle to the lungs, from the lungs back to the left auricle is termed as pulmonary circulation. What about systemic circulation? The movement of blood from left ventricle to the body parts, from the body parts back in the form of impure blood to the right auricle, we call it as systemic circulation. So blood passes twice through the heart. Which are they? One to the lungs. From the body it comes to the heart. From the heart it goes to the lungs. Same amount of blood is going to come back from the lungs. So same blood passes through the heart twice. One is going for purification, one is coming back in the form of pure blood. Now beta, this is something else. So what is the force behind this? What make the heart to pump, right? So the heart is made up of muscular walls. Now these walls show two types of movement. One is contraction. Muscles we know contract, right? Another one is relaxation. So one contracts and another one is relax. Whenever our heart contracts, we use a term which is termed as systole. And what is the term given for relaxation? That is diastole. Systole and diastole. Systole is the another name for the contraction. Diastole is the another name for relaxation. If you look at this first diagram, this heart is in the diastole stage. That means if you look at these two diagrams, this area is wider here, this area is narrower here. Why? Here the heart gets relaxed in the systole stage. When it gets relaxed, more space will be there. Heart is going to fill with the blood. Now, during systole, what happens? Heart is going to contract. There is a force. So, whatever blood which was filled is going to go out of the heart. through the blood vessel. So heart contraction is termed as systole and heart relaxation is termed as diastole. So related to this thing, I am going to teach you one term, that is cardiac cycle. Please understand this one. What is the meaning of cardiac cycle? Cardiac cycle is the entire event which takes place in our heart, right? Entire events which takes place due in one cycle. The entire one cycle which takes place in our heart is termed as this cardiac cycle. So when I am writing a dot systole, the meaning is that auricular systole. That means our auricles are contracting. Which are the auricles? These are the atrium. Right and left atrium contracts. At a time, our heart auricles contract for 0.1 second. Now, what about ventricles? Ventricles contracts at a time for pumping the blood around 3 seconds. So, you remember this way. When auricles are contracting, ventricles are relaxing. When ventricles are contracting, auricles are relaxing. It is in an opposite way. When auricle contracts, our ventricle relax. When the ventricle contracts, auricle relax. So here what happened? When auricle was contracting, systole is contraction, right? It was for 0.1 second. Ventricular systole, that means ventricle contracts for 0.3 second. Now immediately after that, what happens? There is something we call it as joint diastole. What is diastole? Relaxing, right? Joint means both auricle or atrium and ventricle is going to take a rest for a while, that is of 0.4 second. So how much is total? That is one cardiac cycle takes 0.8 second, which means receiving the blood, pumping the blood to the lungs, coming back from the lungs and pumping to the various part of the body. That entire event takes 0.8 second. This is the reason we say that our heart rate or the beat timing in a minute is around 72 times per minute. It comes exactly around 75, but a normal adult man, the heartbeat is of 72 times. So how much is a cardiac cycle? So what is the meaning of cardiac cycle? The entire event which takes place in our heart during double circulation. So blood has to come, it has to go to lungs for purification. Purified blood has to come back and this blood will be pumped to various parts of the body. This entire event is cardiac cycle. Now one more exciting thing I will tell you. Just if you look at this heart diagram. So our heartbeat is defined as lub, dub. Two types of sound. Lub, dub. This is the sound. Each lub, dub, we know that cardiac cycle time how much it will take. Now, the first sound of the heart is because of the closure of two valves. So let me take some space. So I'll write here. So the first sound is lub and the second sound is lub. This is what our heartbeat. So how this lub sound comes? Because of the closure of tricuspid and bicuspid valve. We know where is this valve. Whenever this valve closes, we listen the sound lub. And how come this sound? Dub sound is because of the closure of semilunar valve and aortic valve. We know where is semilunar valve and aortic valve, right? Semilunar valve is also termed as this pulmonary valve. So this happens once, see if this way the heart is there, we know that here is the bicuspid and tricuspid valve. When these two valve closes, we listen the sound, first sound of the heart, that is lub. And where is the dub? From here one blood vessel is going to the lungs, right? And from here one goes to the body. When these valve closes, we listen the second sound, that is dub. So lub, dub sound is actually the heartbeat. How much time it will take? It will take this entire event take 0.8 second that we have seen in our cardiac cycle, right? Now what is blood pressure? The blood pressure is the pressure exerted by the blood when it flows through artery. So listen this one. What is blood pressure? Blood pressure is the pressure exerted by blood on the wall of artery. We know that there is less space in our artery, right? On the wall of artery, pressure exerted on the wall of artery. Now this pressure we are measuring by two terms. Which are the terms? By when, see how the blood flows through the artery, when the heart contracts, right? When the heart contracts, this will be there. So we will measure this by two terms. One is systole, that means when the heart contract, more blood will be pushed into the blood vessel, and that pressure is going to be 120 millimeter per mercury. Now what is diastole? Once the heart contract, immediately it relax. That time the pressure is going to be lesser than the contraction, that is going to be 80, which means a normal person should have the blood pressure as systolic pressure over diastolic pressure, that is 120 over 80 millimeter per mercury. Now why this mercury and all? You know that pressure machine, right? Which machine we use to detect the blood pressure? That is sphygmomanometer. So what is sphygmomanometer? I hope you have studied these all in your junior class. This is an instrument used to measure blood pressure. So what is blood pressure? Blood pressure is the pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of artery. Why? Arteries are having less space inside that. So how do we measure? By systole and diastole of heart. What is the systole of heart? Contraction of the heart. When the heart contracts, more blood will be pushed into the artery, so the pressure is going to be more. Now when the heart relaxes for a while, pressure decreases in our blood vessel, so that is going to be the diastole, that is going to be 80 millimeter of mercury. Hope you have understood this entire thing. In the next video we will be seeing lymph, another fluid which is present in our body. Apart from that, we will see the transportation in plants also. If you like the video, share with your friends and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.